has to make that determination.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Morse. I'm not going to belabor it anymore. Do we have any other?
We could have used the same test that somebody else did, and then we wouldn't have this issue. Just a thought.
There you go. Any other questions before we move on? And we do have somebody that has called in, so we're going to kind of veer off the agenda. Nancy, are you still with us?
Yes, I am.
Thank you, Nancy. And so we're going to go to item number 5 on the agenda, the Department of Administration update on salary and benefits proposal. So, Nancy, if you will introduce yourself for the record and take us to item number 5.
For the record, my name is Nancy Such. I'm the Deputy Director, Division of Personnel and Department of Administration. And our portion of a very large bill was a very small portion to, and I'll just read from it, to present to the legislature a written proposal for a salary and benefits schedule for school districts, including an evaluation of and recommendations for teacher tenure. We have a lot of information out on our website that gives a whole host of answers to many questions, so I don't really know what you'd like me to say beyond our current schedule. We're collecting data now. We'll be analyzing that data March through April and having a draft report for public comment in May. The research is being largely conducted by an organization called CAPER, and that is the Center for Alaska Education Policy Research with the University of Alaska. And they have also their own website. They're seeking stakeholder input. We have many stakeholders, so at any time people want to provide input, we do encourage that to occur.
Thank you, Nancy. Let me see if we have any questions. Essentially what we're hearing is that we'll have a report in May. Mr. Neese.
Yeah, could you give the information for the people that are listening on how they contribute as a stakeholder? Because I see you've got district employees and school board members and stuff. You didn't mention, like, is it a website or an email or?
As far as the, I'm sorry if I misunderstood the question. Who the stakeholders are, or how to?
No. The people that, because you said you're still taking input in from stakeholders. Is it an open input system, or is it you've invited them and it's a sample, or how do they participate in the stakeholder, I guess is what I'm asking.
Okay. Through the CAPER website and through specifically the primary research, Diane Hirschberg, I can provide her email address, but we've going out, reaching out to different groups. We've met with the Alaska Superintendents Association, Alaska Council of School Administrators, the Alaska Association of School Business Officials, and then NEA next January as well, the Board of Directors and Delegate Assembly. So we're getting the word out as we can, and if you want me to forward, would you like me to forward the email addresses?
I think it's at the back of the...
Nancy, I think we do have this. And for those listening online, this is Representative Gaddis. You certainly could go on BASIS and get this information, or you can call my office. So thank you very much. We do have a question. Representative Wilson.
Well, it's not a question. I just want to make sure people listening, if they don't have the packet, this was a study that was supposed to be for an update on salary and benefits schedule. We had looked at some other states that had that. We heard from a lot of small school districts on, and even some large school districts, that it takes a lot of time to go through these kind of contracts, and it puts them sometimes at a disadvantage. And would there be an advantage to having a statewide salary? Would it actually save money, give more time for the classrooms to be able to do that? So that's what started it. Also, we looked into teacher tenure, whether or not tenure is really needed any longer, or whether they could be written actually into the contracts themselves. So the Department of Administration has been tasked on those two things.
Thank you. Mr. Neese.
Yeah, and I just, underneath the stakeholders list, I didn't see private schools. Are you seeking input from private schools?
I can certainly point that out to the research group. I know the last version I saw of the project stakeholders had others question mark, because they were certain that there could be others as we kept looking at the list of possible stakeholders. So I will pass that on to them.
Thank you.
Good info. Thank you. Any more questions before we move on? Thank you. With that, we're going to move on. And Les, I know you're online, so we're going to try to get through yours, and then we'll go to some of the folks here that are in the room. So, Les, we have item number 4, which is school design and construction update. So sorry for flipping through the book. And again, thank you, Nancy. So we'll go to item 4, school design and construction update. And Les, we'll let you begin.
Perfect. I'm going to also turn that one over to Elizabeth Noodleman, who is overseeing the staff that works on that.
Record, Elizabeth Noodleman. And in your packet, we've included a very brief summary of the school design and construction report. Again, this report was part of House Bill 278. And the terminology on the report asks for the benefits and disadvantages of using prototypical designs for school construction in both the rail belt and rural areas of the state. And the department did put out a request for proposal. We spent considerable amount of time trying to define some criteria that our proposers could respond to in order to bring back a proposal for a study that would cover this topic and cover our state and our school facilities. We have awarded that contract, and it went to the Alaska firm of Envision Architecture, Inc., and they are doing that work in association with Dijon Richter. At the time that for an update, I had an email from December 11th where Bill Tatum from Envision had given his most recent update. And so I really provided that to you in your packet. And the accomplishments to date are lined out. One of those, there's been a presentation for the Council of Educational Facility Planners that was in Anchorage in early December. And that's the group of individuals who work on our facilities, on our construction and major maintenance projects. It's the engineers that look at the HVAC systems. It's your architects. Occasionally, some of your contractors belong to that group, your project managers, and your school district employees. So they got in there as quick as they could to start the conversation. Also, in the brief update for anticipated events, they kind of walked through in summary here how this project will be laid out. They indicate the research that will be happening, looking at prototype design within Alaska. And then one of the items here is the regional workshops. And that's a place that the plan, the methodology that the contractor will use, they're going to have regional workshops so that participants will be invited from those regions to come in and allow the stakeholders, whether they're the community, contractors, the school district, to allow them to come in and give input into this process. It was a requirement of our request for proposal that they reached out by region and talked to the people in the region to gather information. It's not the level of detail here that we have in the request for proposal, which is out online. One of the items that we have been talking with the contractors about is what information can you bring forward about prototypical design around components? Because if not every project that's going to happen in this state over the next 10 or 15 years is going to be a new school, are there